morning, afternoon, good evening, bye.
Night. You look very fresh-faced today.
I'm always fresh-faced and ready to face the camera and my public.
Yeah, right, Queen.
Well, I think I'm feeling fairly awake because I've been doing things. I've been doing chores. I've been doing housework as one has to because one doesn't have a housekeeper.
Well, you're the housekeeper.
Yeah.
You keep the house.
I am.
Yeah.
La maison propre, as they say in French.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
Yeah.
I think that's in a number. It's sort of, it's interesting. I've just been reading the Inspector Gamache series. I've just finished a book, and propre is something that is in there as, you know, quite often it's mentioned that it's the right thing or just right.
Proper.
Proper, yeah.
To keep house properly.
Yeah.
La maison propre.
So, yeah, there we are.
Lovely. So welcome to the show, and if you're new to our channel, this is our weekly show called
Sunday Chat!
And Paul always likes to do that because apparently you enjoy it.
I actually like to do it because I quite like to do it.
Do you?
Yeah. Don't care if anyone enjoys it or not.
Well, you should care.
Well, I do care.
Yes.
But actually, sometimes it's also good not to care as well. Yeah, as I found out this week. But yeah, we won't go into that.
Oh, is that a bit of gossip there, Paul?
No.
Celebrity gossip,
No,
perhaps?
it's not celebrity gossip, no.
Oh, well,
not
we'll
at
leave
all.
that
It's
there,
allotment gate.
Allotment gate.
Whinging.
Allotment gate.
Allotment gate.
Allotment whinging gate.
Oh, dearie me.
It's funny how people use the word gate after things now.
Well, they do now, don't they? Yeah.
To indicate some form of scandal.
Yeah.
Or scandalous behaviour.
Well, it comes from Watergate, obviously, doesn't it? Yeah.
Duh,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anywho, so welcome.
But it would actually be allotment gate, actually. It would be allotment gate.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, because it's the allotment gate.
Don't say any more if you're not going to tell the people what it's all about.
It's allotment gate. We've got a lock. I mean, most allotments have got a padlock, and our padlock has been playing up for ages, and as you know, I stepped back from being chair, and I used to be in charge of that and very active sorting things like that out. It's taken about 6 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. No, in fact, we don't have the new keys for the new padlock yet. So it will have taken over 6 weeks to sort this padlock out. And in the meantime, we've had a combination padlock on, which itself is padlocked to the gate because it has a chain on it. If it falls, you don't want it to break. And there's been so much sort of whinging of late about the padlock and the padlock not being locked and things like that, which is really, really annoying. But then there were a few things crept in about how things could be done better. And it just got to a stage where I just went, you know what, there's a lot of people on here, this one of our socials, that believe they know how to do things better. So I look forward to you all stepping up to be on the committee this coming year, because the committee will have at least 10 people on it, if that's the case.
I think people are sometimes quite careless in how they comment on such things.
Yeah, totally.
It's like at work, I have the same thing. People whinge about certain things, you know. Oh, the toilet's not been fixed, or this hasn't been done. Where's the water? Blah, blah. And it's like, okay, well, there are several stages that I
Watergate.
There are several stages I have to go through in order to organise those things.
Yeah.
And I'm relying on somebody else to do this and somebody else to do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like, you know, bear with.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the perimeter of the allotment, the security in the perimeter of the allotment is the charity's responsibility. What sort of goes on site is the association's responsibility. So we need to, or the chair needs to speak to the charity. The charity then needs to go through its process of procurement and blah blah blah. But it's still taken longer than it should have done. In my humble opinion, that happens to be correct. Yeah. But anyway, it's all being sorted. But yeah, I love it that so many people always have a vision of how things can be better, yet they very often don't step up when their assistance is needed, i.e. become a committee member.
I mean, it's, at work we try to call it solution-based thinking. So if you're going to bring something to the party, offer a solution.
Yeah.
To add to the mix. Because, solution-based thinking is great if everybody can bring something to the table and collectively you can decide on a strategy or the best way to deal with something. Rather than people whinging about something that's not gone how they wanted it to go.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's it. It stops there. Well, no, come up with an idea because your idea might be great.
And your idea might be great, but it may be predicated on your own understanding of the situation, and the situation may actually be well beyond your understanding of the situation, and therefore your good solution-based whatever you were talking about is actually rubbish. So yeah,
but you can't do that with solution-based thinking. Everybody's ideas are valid. It's the same as brainstorming, When I used to
brainstorming, I'm totally up for.
When I used to do brainstorming sessions in training, you would set out the rules. You'd say, everybody's ideas are welcome, everybody's ideas are valid, just let it come out. And you gather all the ideas. And then you edit and tell people they're idiots. No, not really. But, you then edit through the ideas and you get rid of the ones that are unanimously voted off. So,
unanimous -1, because it's usually unanimous -1. Because the person who's come up with the idea thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, but in a brainstorming situation, everybody has to accept that these are the rules.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is what we play by.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, we've gone on far too long about that non-entity.
Yes. Sunday chat!
Yeah,
there we are, we'll start again. Yeah.
If in doubt, just shout. If in doubt, just shout.
Oh,
yeah. That's my new brand.
Oh, what
if in
was
doubt,
it?
Just shout.
So solution-based, what
thinking.
Is it? Thinking, yeah, I couldn't think of it, yeah. And if in doubt, just shout, yeah.
Because good managers should always say, well, what's your solution?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so there we are. So, we usually kick off with the weather report rather than some useless drivel. But unfortunately it went that way this morning. So, what has the weather been like?
Are we going to do thank yous?
Well, we'll get up to that in a minute.
Right, okay. Yeah.
What has the weather been like this week? Well, it's been quite changeable this week, hasn't it, Paul?
It
has. I think you'll find.
Yes, it has actually. It's been quite cool at times and pretty hot at times, and we're going through what has been called a mini heat wave.
It's either a heat wave or it isn't.
Absolutely, because I think a heat wave is 3 days above 30 degrees. The highest temperature, that's for the UK, and that is supposedly what we're getting Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Well, you know what? I don't mind. I want to feel warm.
Oh yeah, but then you whinge when it...
I never whinge.
Oh, you do.
I don't.
He does.
No, I don't.
Oh dear.
I only whinge if we're having weeks and weeks and weeks of it.
Oh, right, okay.
A few
Okay.
days is absolutely fine. Bring it on. Let's get this house thoroughly warmed up and ready for autumn, because autumn's round the corner.
Well, autumn is, where are we? June, July, August. So we're only a month
We're not
and
in
a bit
June.
away.
We're not in June.
No, but summer's June, July, August.
Yeah, that's it. But
Yeah.
very often in the UK, especially the south, we can have a lovely autumn, can't we, Paul?
We can have an Indian summer or a lovely autumn.
Well, it's not an Indian summer, actually. It's just a lovely autumn. No,
Yeah,
apparently
it's a
that's
lovely autumn.
incorrect.
Well, it wasn't Indian summer when they went up to the hills
I
and it
don't
was
know.
cooler. I'm sure that was an
Ask
Indian
the
summer.
Indians, I don't know.
I'm sure it... Well, no, I think it was a British thing.
Was
But,
it?
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, September and October can very often be gorgeous with golden light and beautiful warmth and loveliness. It can also be absolutely crap.
With torrential
as
rain and
well,
cold.
with
Yeah.
rain and early frosts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's true. It can happen.
Yeah.
So this week changeable, but it is going into a heat wave. Lovely. That's super, Paul. And Paul. Paul. You're even closer to 60 now than you were last week. Paul's had his birthday. I think we should all sing happy birthday to Paul. Ready?
No.
Happy birthday.
You're not allowed to sing that. It's got lights on it.
you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, everybody.
That's it? Has it got copyright?
Absolutely.
Has
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
But everybody that sings it at birthday parties
I know.
don't pay a fee.
I know they don't. No. No.
So yeah, and I did sausage and mash, didn't I, Paul? I did our microwave mash,
Oh,
which
you
you can
did,
watch
yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's a bit
excellent,
lumpy.
quick.
Yeah.
It was not. I
Yeah.
think you'll find it was deliciously creamy.
It had
fine.
gravy.
Gravy with peas and beans.
Peas and beans. Yeah, that was nice.
Vegetarian sausages,
Yeah,
naturally, as
yeah.
we are vegetarian.
Yeah.
We've also got a vegetarian cookery playlist here.
So yeah,
So yes, Paul, how
but
does it
you're
feel?
also a week closer to 60 yourself.
Everybody's a week closer to 60, aren't they, if you think about it?
No.
Everybody's a
No.
day closer to death.
Yeah, that's true. But not anyone who's over 60
yeah.
is actually a week further away from 60.
I mean, you know, it's going to take me quite a long time to catch you up, Paul, especially with those crow's feet.
Thank you. Oh, somebody did say, "Oh, you've got such gorgeous laughter lines" to me the other day.
Nothing's that funny.
No, fair enough.
I
No.
didn't laugh at all during the 80s.
No, I know you
And
said.
I wore sunglasses all of the time, which is why I look 35 and you look 67.
Thank you.
Poor,
So yes,
poor.
thank you for to all of those who wish me happy birthday, and thank you particularly to Dave and Courtney for your very generous gift, your birthday gift. Thank you hugely,
Lovely.
hugely.
Oh.
I've dropped you an email as well. Yeah, so it's interesting because it's the first birthday without a parent.
Aww.
Yeah, and I noticed that this week. I sort, I'd normally be calling Mum, and I thought, no, I'm not going to call. I can't call Mum. I'm not going to call her. I can't call her. So yeah, that's sort of.
Well, you could go and see a medium, Paul.
I could go and see a medium. I could also go and
Get
see
on
a
the
large.
psychic hotline.
Yeah. More on that later. Yeah, gosh. Yes. So there we are. So that means it's 8 years since Dad died. And almost a year since Mum. So yeah, there we are. It's been absolutely fine, but also sort of quite interesting. That.
Well, that's life.
It is, absolutely.
It is. Also this week, the Olympics have started in Paris. And we noticed that Good old Celine Dion is back in the saddle, so to speak,
Yeah.
isn't she?
I thought that was lovely. I found it quite moving. I didn't watch any of the opening ceremony. I had something else to do, I think. I don't know. But it was. I have watched her sort of close the ceremony, and I thought it was rather lovely, rather moving.
Well, look, she put on a good performance.
Yeah.
Her voice isn't quite what it used to be.
No.
Understandably, because she's been through this horrible illness and is going through it. But, clearly, whatever therapies she has available to her, obviously more than the average Joe would have, due to all of her millions. But it just goes to show you can have all the money in the world, but if you haven't got your health, and all the money in the world can't cure you of certain things.
No.
But it can help to make you more comfortable.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what money does. It beyond a certain point, it's just about adding comfort to your life. And beyond another point, it's just about assembling greed, basically.
Well, it's interesting because we watched that documentary on interviews with Debbie Reynolds, which we'll mention later. But, she was talking about working and the reasons why she continued working. And she was quite open. She said, well, it's because I have a lifestyle that I enjoy and I want to maintain that level of lifestyle. And money is what I need to do that.
Yeah, she was quite clear about it.
Quite clear. And, fair enough. But I still do think that all of those professions are grossly overpaid.
Yeah,
Really.
I think a lot are. I think an awful lot are. And
when there are doctors struggling for pay rises, yet there are people earning God knows what.
And not paying taxes.
Especially the BBC were talking about this in their
annual
news, about their
review,
reporting what people earn. And of course, not all the salaries of the BBC stars are disclosed, because if they work through a private company, they don't have to disclose what they earn. But the top earners who are employed...
Which I think should be changed.
Yeah, me too. But the top earners who are paid directly by the BBC, they have to be declared. They have to declare by law now what they're earning. And it is... I mean, these people are so grossly overpaid. It's unbelievable. I mean, really, it's not that hard a job compared to nurses on an A&E ward,
Yeah, no, I totally
doctors, people working in war-torn countries to save people's lives.
Police, teachers,
Yeah,
fire people,
it's all back
any
to
emergency services.
It's all back to front.
Totally.
Those people in society should be the highest earners because they are saving people's lives. Carers,
Absolutely.
But people who are providing an hour's worth of entertainment per month, frankly, totting up the amount of work they do per episode per month, are grossly overpaid. And all it does is fund their lavish lifestyles.
But I still think that this reporting is a smokescreen. And it's a smokescreen that benefits the super wealthy. People who are earning 50, 100 million a year or have assets of hundreds of millions or billions, who are avoiding and evading paying tax. So whilst we're talking about the likes of Gary Lineker maybe being paid too much, we're not talking about the fact that Amazon should actually have a sales tax that it has to pay to the government for every single item that is bought in the UK. Because if it did, that would generate a huge amount of money for the benefit of people, the taxpayers in the UK. And people who earn just extortionate amounts of money, tax them. Yeah. And don't let them avoid tax either. scrap those loopholes that allow people to earn tax here yet pay tax in the Cayman Islands because it's that company that's based there that they work for. Scrap that. If you earn money here, pay money here. And if you earn money elsewhere but you still live here, pay money here. Yeah.
I mean, look at footballers. You know, I think that is just ridiculous, the amount of money that they get paid. But if you rewind back 80, 90 years, footballers weren't paid at all. They had other jobs and they just did it in their spare time.
Mm-hmm.
It's become an industry. And yes, okay, that industry, like the entertainment industry, does employ a lot of peripheral people as well, you know, to fuel the engine of those conglomerates behind big stars, you know. But I think the stars themselves, unless they are writing and producing something themselves, I think they're all paid too much, you know. I mean, there are some that it's also unfair, because I've known stories of groups who have done really well, but because of the poor deals that they've signed with management and record labels, they've ended up not earning anything.
Yeah, which comes down to greed.
A small amount.
Yeah.
So there are greedy people behind the act.
Absolutely.
As well as some of the acts.
Well,
as
it's like Elvis, Colonel, whatever his name was, you know, hiving off money, wasn't he? So, you know, and it's happened so often.
Greed. Let's move on. So, Paul, you wanted to talk about For Earth's Sake. That's For Earth's Sake, the plastic-free shopping experience in Surrey.
Yeah, which interestingly is not for profit. So, we won an award this week.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Woo.
We won SME News's Eco-Conscious CIC of the Year award. And there were many awards.
Hold on. What does that mean? Because you're using a lot of letters and acronyms.
Yeah, so
little.
eco-conscious, obviously conscious of the ecosystem, ecology, you know, all of that, and working for the benefit of the planet. SME, small medium enterprise.
Okay.
So that's non sort of big corporate, so that's not your Amazons. These are basically small, relatively small companies, SMEs. I think they have a turnover up to, I mean, we don't, but I think it's turnover up to 10 million a year, or maybe it's a bit more, maybe it's more now, but small companies generally. And very often they're companies that are, excuse me, owned or run by just one or two people and started up by one person. So there was that. And then CIC, so we're For Earth's Sake CIC. So CIC is a community interest company. So that is a company that's activities for the benefit of the community, where a limited company can be a profit-making company for the benefit of individuals. You know, the shareholders, basically. So, yeah, those are the acronyms.
No, it's not an anacronym, it's an
Acronym, yeah. Those are the acronyms.
Thank you, Paul. So you won an award?
Yeah, we won an award, and you know, it's great to win an award. We won 2 in 23 and one so far in 24. And the good thing about this is that it's not something that we nominate ourselves for, it's something that other people nominate and vote for. So we weren't really part of the process apart from giving various bits of information.
Excellent. How wonderful. And you can visit For Earth's Sake wherever they are.
So
Where
that's
are
Shamley Green, Upper House Lane, GU5 OSX, Wednesday to Saturday, 9:30 to 4:30. Yeah, and the wonderful Greek spinach pie, spanakopita is usually there from about 10 o'clock until it's sold out. So yeah, getting through 2 or 3 pies a day now, which is rather fabulous. So that's sort of like 20 or 30 slices.
And talking about spanakopita, you wanted to talk about summer salads, Paul. Why on earth do you want to talk about summer salads here on Sunday Chat?
Sunday Chat!
That's Sunday Chat.
Sunday Chat!
With Richard and Paul. Richard and Paul since 2017. That's contractual.
There was a number of people who shared salads this week on Planet Vegetaria. And
that's our Facebook group. A Facebook group by Richard and Paul.
Thank you.
No, I've said that bit already.
Right. And it was I think it's called was it called a fridge salad?
I don't know.
It was tomato, sliced tomato, cucumber, onion, all mixed together with a vinaigrette with some type of salad dressing, and I think some had lettuce in them, some had dill in them, and I love salad, but I'm a bit basic when it comes to doing dressings, because I'll either just do no dressing or just some balsamic vinegar, maybe a sort of French vinaigrette.
What's your point? Sorry,
I'm
onto it.
No, I'm intrigued by people's different. I'd like some ideas about salad dressings, because I see salads and I see them dressed in so many different ways, and I think, oh, I should try that. But I always think, like people did when we were doing the Instant Pot Cookery series, oh, that seems a bit complicated to do that, to make that dressing, and how long will it keep in the fridge and that type of thing. And then you have, in America, I know you have fridge pickles, which are like cucumber in a brine. Like, do you know? Yeah, I know you wouldn't like that. But you have fridge pickles, and are they called breakfast pickles or something? And they intrigue me, these things, because a pickle to us is something I think a little bit different.
Well, a pickle is a gherkin, an onion, some red cabbage. Now, I don't mind red cabbage.
He loves red cabbage.
Pickled red cabbage I really enjoy. That's the only pickle that I really like.
Pickled onions?
I used to like pickled onions, but I can't eat them. They give me heartburn.
Yeah.
They trigger me.
Too much vinegar,
They do trigger me.
So, so we were talking about this, and then there was a comment on the salad that was in the fridge, that it could be kept in the fridge for several days.
No, I can't do that. No, you see, a salad to me has to be made there and then, freshly. I do not want it sitting and getting all watery. No, it's like, you know what my nightmare is as well?
I'm going to tell them one of your
salad bars.
Oh yeah, salad bars. No. People breathing, all of them, sneezing over them.
No, it's the sitting of watery salads in the juice. No, I don't want that.
No, I'm not a fan of salad
I want
bars.
A fresh salad that's crisp and freshly prepared and put straight onto my plate. And also, I'm not fussed about dressing. I like a little mayonnaise with my salad. Or if it's carrot, grated carrot, balsamic.
Yeah, he likes balsamic.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I don't want your oils, thank you. You can keep your bloody oils. I don't want them. I don't want my leaves covered in oil. I don't want that. I like crisp, fresh lettuce that crunches in your mouth. I don't want slime all over my leaves. No.
He doesn't want slime.
I don't want that. Don't give it to me.
No.
Tomatoes go watery. They give off water after a while. I don't want that either on my plate. He doesn't want that either. Swimming around in juices.
He doesn't want swimming in juices. No.
No swimming in juices ever.
No.
No.
Like that.
So there we are. That's summer salad sorted.
Yeah. So basically stick to what you're doing already, Paul, and don't put too much on it.
But I have to say, I do like a crunchy salad. Now, you like my salads, Paul, when I make them, which is very rare.
Do I?
Yeah, crunchy, big, crunchy cubes of things.
Yeah, I think Americans call that a chopped salad.
Well, a chopped salad, I think, is finely chopped.
No, in America it's more chunky, I think. When I've had a chopped salad many, many years ago, it was sort of big chunks of
I like
things.
that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because
Not
it
too
feels
small.
substantial, and actually you can eat a bowl of that and it satisfies. You know. I love a rice salad or a couscous salad because the rice and the couscous soaks up the juices, Paul.
It does, you're right. Yeah,
Anyway.
but your couscous could be a little bit watery sometimes. So you
My
need
couscous?
to make sure. No, not yours. One's. Oh my god. Yeah.
I don't think
One's
my couscous is ever watery, Paul. I'm very good at making couscous.
Oh dear, yeah.
You know, it's such a simple thing to make. Couscous. I love couscous.
Well, it's not a simple thing to make. It's a simple thing to prepare, is what you mean.
Well, no, I'm not going to be sitting there rolling the little grains of whatever. No, they're not grains,
Pasta.
are they?
It's a pasta.
Pasta
It's
rolled
wheat.
between
It's a pasta.
the thighs of an old woman in Mexico. I don't know. But it is classed as a pasta.
It is a pasta.
I
yeah.
love it, especially the whole wheat one or whole meal one that we get.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
available for Earth's sake.
Available for Earth's sake. Now.
Yes. Yeah.
So, lovely. Coming soon on Richard and Paul, my fragrance blending journey.
Oh yes, yes.
Coming soon. I've got one in the bag, and I need to do a little follow-up, but coming soon. Watch this space.
Christmas isn't far away.
Why? I'm not releasing it at Christmas. What are you talking about?
No, but it'll be sometime between now and Christmas.
No, it'll be soon. Coming soon.
Soon.
So, lovely. Oh, God, here we go. Here we go.
Word of the day.
It's word of the week, Paul.
I know it's word of the week, really, but it's still word of the day and word of the week.
So, today's date, the actual date...
28th of
28th of
July.
28th of July. Oh, God, I hope it's easy.
Gosh, it's already 4 days since my birthday. Feels like a month. And it feels like a day.
Paul.
Oh, Richard, can you go on?
Christ alive. Jesus, Mary, Mother of God. I can't even pronounce this.
We'll do it phonetically. We'll do it letter by letter, rather.
Skiomachi. Skiomakai. Skiomachi.
S-C-I-O.
M-A-C-H-Y.
Schiamacci. Sounds like a Italian sort of
Showmachi.
boss, doesn't it?
Because it can sometimes be sh, can't it?
Oh yeah,
C.
like in science.
Siomachi.
Anyway, that's what it is.
At least the
I have no
words-
idea.
At least the description isn't too long.
Is it something like psychological geometry?
Shush now, Paul. You might not often need a word for battle with a shadow, but when you do, you'll be glad that there's Skiamachi.
That one.
The shadows, of course, are usually metaphorical, so that Skiomachi is something like pointless shadow boxing. Dr. Johnson cites an essay by Abraham Cowley relating a vision or dream he had about Oliver Cromwell. To avoid this shimachi or imaginary combat of words, let me know, sir, what you mean by the name of tyrant. The royalist Cowley, I read that as novelist. Bit of a difference there. It's because I actually can't see.
Oh, he does have his glasses
I saw
on.
ist and thought it said novelist. The royalist,
Could be
Cowley.
pianist.
The pianist, Cowley, pianist, royalist, novelist. The royalist, Cowley, a poet and
Do you want me to do it?
poet and playwright, was much admired by his peers, having died on this day in 1667.
So he was a writer.
He was buried in Westminster Abbey alongside Chaucer and Spenser. I don't know who Spenser is. Who's Spenser? It's assuming that I know. He features in Samuel Johnson's Lives of the Poets, but his posthumous reputation had otherwise... Why am I reading this? It has no bearing on the word.
Well, you said it's boxing your shadow or something. I still don't actually know what it means. What does it say at the beginning?
Battle with a shadow.
Battle with a shadow.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't get
blah,
that
blah,
one.
blah.
Not something vampires have an issue with.
God, it's too hard. I need to lie down now.
You need to lie down and a nap for a couple of hours.
Look, let's get on to the bloody easy bit, which is what we watched on telly this week, Paul.
Eclectic.
Oh, it's been a bit of a week.
Eclectic.
It's been a bit of a week for TV, Paul.
Well, you mentioned Debbie Reynolds already.
Oh, hello.
That's your ding dong, ding dong.
I'm popular, finally. So yeah, we did watch a documentary on Debbie Reynolds, which was kind of okay. It was narrated by Sylvia Sims, very poorly, I have to say. I didn't like the narration at all.
Sorry, Sylvia.
Well, it was a little bit lacking, I felt. And it was done in the style of those documentaries that we watch on like the 70s and things like that. And I felt that wasn't kind of appropriate for this programme.
Well, it wasn't a modern programme, was it?
But it wasn't that old.
I think it was about 2018, wasn't it?
Well, therefore, not that old.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because I kind of quite like Debbie Reynolds, and of course it was such a tragedy when Carrie died and then Debbie died a day later.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a real tragedy, you know. Very shocking, actually, for me, I thought. We also watched another documentary called Art Matters with Melvyn Bragg. Now, Melvyn Bragg used to host the South Bank show.
He did, which was ITV's arts programme, weekly arts programme, many decades ago. And he's been in the arts, if you like, for absolutely decades.
Yeah, and it was good. It was kind of like a montage of interviews with different people.
Talking about why the arts was important to them and why the arts are important to society as well. And how the arts in the UK is now under significant challenge.
Yeah, I mean, funding has been cut left, right and centre on the arts, and governments don't seem to see it as particularly important.
I mean, Winston Churchill famously said something like, if we don't have arts, what are we fighting for? And this is obviously Second World War time, and I think that's very true. I mean, virtually everything everything we touch and everything that we eat and everything that we smell has been designed in some way, which is part of design. All of that is part of arts. So yeah, it's not just about entertainment, and it's not just about what's on stage or what's on TV. It's everything that goes through our daily lives.
Well, and indeed you wouldn't be able to eat anything if art wasn't involved.
Yeah.
Because the plates you eat off, the forks you use, everything is designed. Yeah. Everything.
And the packaging, of course, we say there's too much plastic packaging, but the packaging has been designed, and the graphics that have been used, whether it's a photograph or whether it's a drawing, it's all part of arts.
You're making art when you post on social media.
Totally, absolutely. This is art.
This is art. I am art. Art. I'm art. Look.
Yeah, art with a capital F. Yeah.
So, that was good, but I can't remember what channel was it on?
That was Sky Arts.
Sky Arts. There we go. We continue with Sonny.
Which has sort of taken another sort of step sideways and was a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Still enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
quite a distinct step sideways.
Yeah.
And did you know the character change when they're fighting in that sunken bath? It switched from one character to another and back. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Well, it was putting on a character.
No, I know.
To get what it wanted.
Yeah.
Okay. We also watched a trashy paranormal show, Britain's scariest, what was it? Britain's greatest ghost stories, which started off okay. It started off okay, and it was all about the Borley Rectory, which is in a place called Borley.
Not surprisingly.
And it was a rectory.
Yeah, not surprisingly.
That was haunted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a famous haunted house which burnt to the ground in the 30s. But it was very famous. And this programme was all about investigating these stories to find the truth.
The truth.
So you had one person who was like a sort of investigative investigator.
An investigative investigator.
Yeah.
So they were looking through the archives and trying to find the facts of what went on.
An investigator, being investigative. And then you had a paranormal investigator. Then who
had equipment that proved
the existence of
these ghosts and things.
Activity. Yeah. And then who was the dark-haired guy? What was his role?
I don't know. I think.
What was he there to do?
I don't know.
But then you had the fourth person, Serena. Yeah, Serena was an empathy historian.
Yeah, she feels history.
She feels history.
Yeah. It reverberates through her body.
I look back at the people involved and think about the struggle that those people went through.
And the pain.
The pain and the sadness.
I feel overwhelming sadness.
I feel they were just very sad. Very sad, the sadness coming through. I feel the sadness of the history. That was what she was like. But actually...
Which actually would be what you'd be like as well, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. But actually, I'm not being horrible to her, because actually I thought she seems quite fabulous. Actually.
Yeah, she was.
She was dressed in a sort of ethereal way, wasn't she? With her long flowing blonde grey hair.
She was a comely wench.
And her draped clothes.
A lace and things and flowers in her hair. She was a comely wench.
I wouldn't describe her as a comely wench.
I would.
Body shape, perhaps, a comely wench.
No, I think her whole persona.
Well, she didn't have a jug and she wasn't serving drinks, so, you know.
Well, no, not at that point. Not the point we saw her.
But she was an interesting character, but it kind of this...
What did she have? Not an apron. What was the thing she had? Well, not a cape.
Well, it was pashmina.
It was a shawl. A shawl. Yeah, and she had a shawl and it was all wrapped and
it kept on slipping off on one side and revealing a breast.
Yeah, comely wench.
But the narrator kept repeating the same thing over and over again.
And they kept on doing audio aerial shots that were all the same.
And we're here in Puckleton or whatever it was called. Puckley, the most haunted place in Britain, home to over 36 ghosts.
And then suddenly it became 50. And then it was 0.
And then it would fly over the town again and she'd go, and we're here in Puckleton.
Wasn't the dark... Wasn't he looking at the He was
Puckle
counting them or something.
Village.
He was counting ghosts.
Puckletown.
Buckleberry.
Puckleberry. I don't know where it was. But
Pluckley.
Pluckley was
Puckley.
Puckley, Pluckley,
Pluckley.
Pookie,
Yeah,
Pookie, Wookley.
I
I don't know. But yeah, that was a bit of a waste of time.
That was
literally.
hilarious. Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because I like trashy programs like that.
does.
Because I like to shout at the screen. So we started The Gentlemen, which is a
Guy Ritchie fest.
God.
It
My
starts
heart-
really well.
Yeah, but my heart sank when I saw Guy Ritchie's name because I'm really not a fan of Guy Ritchie
No.
productions at all. I find them a little bit extreme, frankly. You know, he goes for the jugular, literally, and draws things out. You know, I'm all for scenes making you feel uncomfortable, but
As part of the story.
as part of the story, but I find when producers really turn up the heat on the uncomfortability of a scene, and they go, yeah, let's draw it out, really make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's so obvious, and actually it just serves to make you feel icky and has the opposite effect on us. We just switch off.
Yeah.
So we're
It's
not going to see the rest of your production.
It's a bit like sex scenes, you know,
Oh.
when people, you know, start sort of going together and, you know, kissing and caressing,
Yeah,
and you think,
right.
oh, you know where you're going with this, and then they cut and you think, yeah, that's absolutely fine, but then they pop onto the bed and they start writhing, and you
Yeah,
really
right, you don't
do
need to
we
describe
this?
it. We don't need an audio description, Paul. Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. So, but actually, production-wise, it looked quite good.
It looked great. Good acting.
Good acting, so we may carry on with that. I hope it doesn't get any more extreme than the scene that we were
I think
very
that's a taster for
uncomfortable.
what's to come.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hope not.
Yeah.
We started the new series called Time Bandits, which is
Apple, I think.
Apple TV, and it's kind of like a sort of reimagining of the movie Time Bandits, which I think I've seen a couple of times.
I've only seen it once when it originally came out.
I can't say it's my favourite film, you know.
It was quite fun. Lisa Kudrow.
This series is quite fun.
Yeah.
Quite pleasing to watch. Good production. It's quite funny in places. The kid is quite cute. You know, quite a good actor. Oh,
Excuse
bless
me.
you, Paul. Bless you. I hope it doesn't turn into a sneezing fit like
You've had.
the number I've had over the past week. Ridiculous. Oh.
So yeah.
I'm so sorry. That was my crumpet coming up to say hi.
That was his third crumpet.
So, yeah.
So yeah, it's worth it. We're enjoying
Yeah,
it.
quite fun.
Yeah,
Quite
yeah.
fun.
And that's coming out weekly, episode each week, as is Sunny.
Gotta wait weekly again.
I quite like that in some ways. I do quite like the anticipation of things to come, but I also love binging on stuff as well. Yeah. What
Have you
else did we?
finished?
Yeah, I finished now.
Good.
Yeah.
We watched an interview with Janet Jackson, which was on the BBC, which was interesting.
Yeah.
I've never been a Janet Jackson fan. I've never ever bought a record of hers.
Right.
Ever. I've heard, you know, singles on the radio in the past, but I kind of quite like her as a person.
Yeah, I do.
She comes across as a friendly, genuine person, and I think the people around her seem to appreciate her as a boss, you
Yeah.
know. But she's had an incredibly good career. She's
Yes.
sold a lot of records.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and she also kind of lifted herself up out of obscurity, and I say that in inverted commas because
Yeah.
she was obviously a member of the Jackson family, so they weren't obscure, but her record career didn't quite take off, and then she kind of took control, as in the title of the album, Control, and really launched it and did good, you know. So I think she's been a hard worker.
And it was a lovely interview. It was an interesting interview, done in New York, and it was one of those where we were flicking through the channel and it was coming to that we landed on the channel. It was a BBC interview on BBC News. We flicked as it got to the end of the interview, and as soon as I realised that, we started the interview and watched it, didn't we, from the beginning? And yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was interesting. We also started 2 movies.
Yes.
So you know what we're like. We have a sort of 10-15 minute rule that if something has really not grabbed us, we're going to turn it off. So the first one was Zero Contact with Anthony Hopkins, which started off with a banner on the screen talking about the fact that this movie was made during the pandemic. Didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It said something like a pandemic in 17 countries.
Yeah, so
which
obviously,
confused me a bit.
Well, alluding to the fact that it is set around the world and was filmed, as far as we can tell, on mobile phones.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looked as though it was.
Yeah, made to look that way.
Yeah.
So I couldn't kind of decide, did you have an idea for a movie and then had to film it and then the pandemic hit, so you then decided to do it in this way, or whether it was originally planned that way. I couldn't quite decide. We got so far...
I wasn't even sure whether it wasn't even made afterwards to be representative of what could have been made during.
Well, so, I don't know. It didn't.
We gave up.
It didn't reach its point quickly enough.
There's so many things, you know, like you have face recognition on phones, and where it comes to a square and it can follow people. There was too much of that going on. There was too much tech going on for me
on the screen,
and I found it too visually busy. Basically,
yeah. We also tried The Hunting of the Snark,
which I love as a musical.
Which was around in the early 90s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
Mid 90s, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, I've got a feeling it was around 94, 95.
Right.
Anyway, at the Prince Edward Theatre it was, which has been renamed, I think, now.
What, to the Prince Andrew Theatre?
I don't think so.
I don't think that's going to happen.
And it had, what's his name? Fergie.
Fergie? No, that's wrong. He played Ferdy.
Ferdy, that's right.
In This Life.
In This Life.
Do you remember This Life from the early 90s? Tanita Tickeram's brother.
Yeah. Ferdy Tickeram.
No, his name's not Ferdy. Ferdy was the name of the character that he played in This Life.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, there we are.
Begins with an R? I can't remember, sorry. We again gave up.
Yeah, again, it was more a visual thing and more sort of... There was inconsistencies, we felt, in the production.
I felt as though it didn't actually know what it was trying to achieve. It looked as though it was trying to achieve a mixture of old style writing graphics,
yeah,
with stunning visual landscapes that were enhanced to make them look like a sort of fairy tale world.
And tabletop theatre as well, where you have, you've got a pole with a character on it, and you've got a little set on the table, and you...
But there were... The visuals were interspersed with very, very high quality visuals. There were a couple of snippets of beautiful water, for example, which was very high definition, and mixed with things that were kind of low definition, and looked, frankly, a little bit crummy in places. And I thought, have you decided to intersperse it with really high quality images just to sort of make up for the fact that the rest of it is below par? That's kind of what I felt. I felt if it was consistent and it was very, very high quality and very in your face and very wow, it would have worked. But it wasn't wow at any point. It was like, oh, no, yes, no.
So we gave up on that.
Yeah, bye. See ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
Well, wouldn't want to watch you. And didn't.
So, yeah, we continue with Sister Boniface.
Yeah, which is, always fun.
Fun for a lunch. And we continue, of course, with Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, which, it is perfection in my mind. Is this the 5th time we've watched it in 3 years? I don't know. But it gets to, I think it's the last episode of the 2nd series, and they're all in, if you've watched it, you'll know what I'm talking about. They're all in Mutt's barn. They've had the dinner out at a restaurant where they met up with some of their old friends that knew them when they had lots of money. And that scene at the end in the barn always brings me to tears. It's so emotive and caring and fully enveloping of niceness and happiness. It's lovely, lovely. I'll start crying now.
No, don't. Time's up.
Time's up.
So that's it.
For this week's
Sunday
Chat.
Thank you so much for tuning in and enjoying it. Enjoy it. You will enjoy it.
And how many times have I said Sunday Chat this week?
Sunday
Chat!
Far too many, I think.
Far too many. Yeah.
So, thank you, bloody thank you. And we'll see you very soon. And remember, watch out for my fragrance blending journey.
And my week at the plot.
Okay.
Bananas.
Tits and bombs.
See you soon.
Bye for now. Come again. Hope you enjoyed it.
Is there anyone still watching?
Watch all the adverts. Watch
think they're
again.
gone.
Thank you. Glad you liked it.